We are live. Awesome.
Holy balls! It's the final part. It only took us like a month.
Right? And
Ha ha ha.
But yeah, welcome to our final rant stream for the Ace Attorney series.
Now, before you start asking, like, why did it take you guys so long? Well, here's the thing. We have busy schedules.
Yeah. That's just how it is.
Plus, these games are not easy to explain in, like, an hour or so. I mean, look at part 2.
And part
I was
1.
like, part 1 and part 2 were like 3 to 4 hours or something like that. I don't know. They were really long.
Yeah. So we were trying. It's a big series.
If you think you can do better, do it yourself.
Right?
Smiley face.
But yeah, now we're gonna talk about the. Well, let me switch to a different slide. Now we're going.
Yeah, be prepared.
Yep. Now we're gonna talk about the prequel series.
Yeah, I don't know why, but they decided, you know what? This game is already like this franchise has gone long enough. Just go back to the beginning and talk about Phoenix's ancestors.
It looks more like Apollo, but whatever.
We don't question it.
Yep. But yeah.
Although this could be like, what if Phoenix and Apollo are secretly related?
That would be kind of gross. but I mean, that would be. I don't know how to describe. I don't know how I would describe that.
I mean, it would explain why the main protagonist of the first of Great Attorney 1 and 2 looks somewhat like Apollo.
True. Very true. It would explain.
But anyway, yeah, we're gonna talk about the Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2 as we might as well talk about Chronicles because why not, you know?
Yeah, because okay, so here's the thing. What was it called? Dai Gyakuten Saiban, what the fuck ever, otherwise known as.
What is that? you butchered that so bad.
I did. Sorry, I gotta read it like a Japanese person would. Dai Gyakuten Saiban. No. Okay, whatever. I tried. Okay.
That works.
No. Well, DGS 1 and 2, otherwise known as the Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2, they're released only in Japan. The first game was released in 2015, the second game in 2017, and by the way, Spirit of Justice was released between those, but who cares? Anyway.
Who cares about that game? We don't talk about Spirit of Justice.
Right?
The game where Apollo barely does anything until the final episode.
And the game was technically about him, but oops.
It didn't really focus on him.
Nope. Oops. And Athena could have just been written out. Like, I'm not even joking, but...
Who?
Oh, never mind. I can't remember anymore.
Who? I thought it was just Phoenix and Apollo.
Yeah, mostly Phoenix with a bit of Apollo, and then there was a third person. I can't remember her name.
Oh no.
Oh well. But
that case felt so out of place. I'm sorry, but like
it did.
I probably should have brought this up in part 2.
It
Not
did.
part 2. Yeah, part 2. It felt like it should have been in the previous game or something like that, or like a separate game altogether, because it did not fit well at all.
Yeah.
It's just kind of there.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll be talking more about this with regard to Resolve because... Okay, so...
Wait until we actually get into the stream.
Yeah.
These games have a lot of instances where it has, like, cases where they just don't feel like they belong in this game, or they feel like they belong in the previous game.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, game number 2.
Shit. Damn.
Let me just get this out of the way. These games are not bad. They're just kind of unnecessary in a way.
Yeah.
I guess. Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, so the whole chronology just needs a serious rework. Just
Let's just bring it back to when it was just, Phoenix.
yeah, the Golden Trilogy,
It's-
nothing else.
Yeah, because once we get to Apollo, the story goes batshit crazy.
It does. It's like, what am I playing?
Is this a game about defending your client or trying to make sure that this whale doesn't get murdered?
Damn.
I can't tell at this point.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Over time, the series just gets wackier and wackier. It's like,
Whoa, wacky characters! Whoa!
yeah.
Whoa, we're interviewing a whale! Whoa!
And Black Hole's like, I don't have time for this shit. Get that shit out of here. Just get it out of here.
Literal whale!
Yep. Yeah, let's just forget that case. I just pretend it didn't
What
happen.
case?
Oh, okay. See, there you go. But yeah, there's a prequel series, and it was originally released in only Japan, but
And they decided to port it over to America because we need our dose of Japanifornia here in America,
yep,
Oh no, we need a little bit of a British. Because why not?
yep. Believe it or not, these two games take place both in Japan and in London. So
Mainly London.
yeah, mainly London, because our main character and his sidekick assistant, oops,
In quotation marks, because what the people do.
yeah, we'll get to her. Especially Resolve. Don't worry, we're gonna get to her. I have quite a bit to say about her. But yeah, like the main character and his assistant travel to London for a study tour, exchange, what the fuck ever, and they meet. And they meet the great Sherlock Holmes and his.
Excuse me, it's not Sherlock.
Oh, right, I'm sorry. It's Sherlock Holmes.
Holmes.
Right, sweet. We gotta watch that copyright.
Oh, just by you saying that, we're gonna get copyright strike. Thanks, Chi.
I'm sorry.
Ugh.
But
Yeah,
they
you see,
changed his name.
and they made him a skinny, anime protagonist guy person thing. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, anime!
Now, I haven't really read any of the original books, so I don't know what Sherlock Holmes's original personality is like. But yeah, he's in this game. Both. And
No, Sherlock Holmes. Technically, he was known as this dude that has unique views and vigorous intellect. And he's willing to question absolutely everything to make sure he solves the case. Is it not present here?
yeah,
People like to call him a high-functioning sociopath.
basically.
That's not accurate. Is that not accurate?
I mean, you're not wrong. The man, and the game seems to be aware of it too. The man has some interesting tendencies, being that he's
Interesting.
yeah. He manipulates people. It's just
All because he wants to solve a mystery. Yay!
yep. He finds people's secrets and then exploits them, and I'm like, wow. holy shit! And the main character is friends with this
You're
guy.
a horrible person.
Right? It's like, what the
That
fuck?
explains why Phoenix does a whole lot of stupid stuff.
It does.
Like, for example, getting the evidence to incriminate somebody and then immediately going to said person and be like, hey, I'm gonna put you in jail.
Yep. And Apollo took after that. It's just like, y'all are dumb. How are y'all not dead? I'm sorry. How are you all not dead?
I mean, let's see, you've been tased, you've been hit with a fire extinguisher, you fell off a freaking bridge. Let's see, what else happened to this man? You got hit by a car
Yeah.
and hit a freaking, I think it was a street light or something, that a pole or something, I don't know. Let's see, what else happened to this guy?
Well, he almost got erased by the mafia.
Yeah, he almost got erased by the mafia. He got punched in the face.
Yep.
Phoenix, how are you not dead?
So it's because he's just stupidly lucky, and even the game series knows it.
Plot armor.
Plot armor.
Yay!
Yeah, Phoenix is the personification of plot armor.
Yes, because it doesn't matter what happens to that dude, he somehow survives.
Yeah, like you could throw him in the worst scenario ever, and he would come out with barely a scratch.
Falls off a bridge.
Yeah, and then it just comes out with the cold. Oh, okay. Okay.
Chew!
Achoo. But, yeah, Herlock Sholmes is going to be the main character's partner throughout a lot of these games. And
by partner, you mean he does basically all the investigating for you while you just sit around and just listen to him and be like, hey, he's probably right.
basically, I have a lot to say about that particular.
We might as well get into the game at this
Yeah.
point because we're just delaying the inevitable.
So let's start with.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, but.
Let's start with the first game, which was released in, again, Japan in 2015, just for the 3DS, but eventually got a port over to the Americas because of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which includes English translations of both the first game and the second game, and also has the Japanese audio, because you weebs need to listen to your Japanese every week.
Basically. And.
I'm weebs.
Hey, I mean, Black Hole's the biggest one, so. It's just. Yeah. Anyway. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Oh, but yeah, there was actually a fan translation for these two games. Well, for all of the first game and for 3 cases of the second game. But then Capcom was like...
Because they got lazy.
Yeah.
Well, not lazy, but like Capcom was just like, hey, we don't like that. Stop it, or otherwise we're going to sue you.
Yeah, so Capcom was like, step aside, bitches, we got this. And then Chronicles was born.
And they sold it for full price.
Yep.
Yay!
Yay.
Thanks, Capcom, we love you.
But
Anyways.
yeah, now let's get on to the first game. Yeah, the first
game.
Okay, so in the first case of the great... Oh, let me just switch slides, hold on. So...
Yeah, such slides, goofballs.
Sorry. But, yeah, in the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, the first case, The Adventure of the Great Departure, in that case, our main character is accused of murder, because why not? Oops.
He just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And he also made the stupid decision to pick up a gun
Yeah.
that literally laid on the floor. And the victim was shot in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's,
okay.
What was your thought process? Anyways, we might as well talk about the dude getting accused of murder because he's the main protagonist. Yay!
Yep. Plus, he's Phoenix's ancestor. I mean, everyone in Phoenix's bloodline is cursed, apparently. So I don't know.
His name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo, or simply Ryu Naruhodo.
Yes. And his best friend is Kazuma Sogi, and he's
a defense attorney.
yes, or at least studying to be one. And
Yay!
and he's going to defend his best friend in court. But if he fails, then this study tour he's planning to have to go to Great Britain. He's going to be like, nah, fuck that. If I can't defend my best friend, I don't deserve to go on the study tour. And his best friend's like, OMG! Don't defend me! And then he's like, oh, I'll be the attorney. I'll be the attorney judge. It's like, okay.
Okay. I'll defend myself in court. Are you sure? Yes!
It's like, yes! He literally says yes. Yes!
Yes! Yes! And just like that, Ryu has to defend himself from murder, where a bunch of people are testifying against him because they all saw him with a freaking gun. Get going! Get going, Ryu!
And, okay, so here's the stupid thing. You find out who the actual killer is very early in the case, but the game structures the entire case so weird.
As if you don't know.
Like,
it's...
You have to jump through
It's so obvious who the murderer is, but you're not allowed to just call her out because the game won't allow you to. It's so dumb.
It is.
And that's my main problem with the first game. They constantly do this bullcrap.
Yeah, see, it's like in the last case of Investigations 1, where you know who the culprit is, but you have to go through a shit ton of hoops to pin his ass down. It's the same thing here.
At least Investigations 1 had an excuse. The dude was an ambassador. You can't just casually say, hey, this ambassador is a murderer.
But
here, it's just some random lady.
Yeah, I mean, she's a foreign exchange student, but still, like...
Foreign exchange student.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. You'll find out what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
anyways. We'll get to that later, but... Yeah, just remember, she is quote-unquote an exchange student. But yeah, the first case drags on for a lot longer than it should, so there's not much else to say about it. And the stupid thing is that... Okay, so there were witnesses at the scene who saw that the defendant picked up the gun, but they also saw that the British lady shot the gentleman sitting across the table. But the police chief, and I use police chief very loosely because he's kind of an idiot,
it makes you wonder why he's the chief of police if he doesn't know how to do his job and everyone else does his job for him.
Basically. And he tells them to basically testify that she was the woman was just never there, but we have to pick apart their testimony, and they inadvertently admit that she was actually there, and so from there we pin down this woman and then just break through all her lies to get to the truth, and then at the end of the day she just gets off scot-free because diplomacy.
First off, isn't it illegal to withhold evidence within a court of law?
Yes, but these games don't give a shit.
Yeah, I forgot. This is when the freaking judicial system is still fucked.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. And there's another... See, going back to the police chief...
Hi, Mother.
Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I was just saying hi. You've just been walking in.
Oh, it's just that the police chief... Okay. So at first he presents himself as a waiter because he was working undercover at a restaurant to investigate a series of thefts that occurred there, and he drew a map on the back of his business card, and I'm just like,
What's the point?
Right? It's like, dude, you drew a map to give to the court, and you didn't think to draw. You had it on the back of your business card. Why didn't you use something else if you wanted to keep your identity a secret? Like, oh my god.
Because the plot demanded it.
Right? It's just like stupid. Why didn't you? You didn't think they would take it? Oh my god.
I mean, it's a business card. Who actually reads business cards?
Good point. And yeah, so that's how we find out that the waiter is actually a police chief. Which, again, I use this term very loosely. And okay, and he doesn't. Okay, so he saw the lady sitting across the gentleman. He questioned her, but he didn't do a body search. And I don't know. That's it. He didn't do a body search, so she managed to hide the gun under her skirt, use it, and then conceal it again. And I'm just like, you just let her walk away.
I wonder why he didn't check. Oh wait,
but that would make me a pervy. That'd make me pervy.
It would make sense. It would make sense for someone with that big of a dress to be body searched, but you know,
right? It's like, right? The lady was like, "Oh, I couldn't have hidden a pistol anywhere." I'm like, "Bitch, yes, you could have. You could have hidden it in your hat or under your skirt."
You are a twig. What do you mean you can't hide?
God. But no, like it. Yeah, see, this whole thing is just one big contrivance. So that's basically the first case.
Oops. Yeah.
I mean,
anyways, move on to the. Well, yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I mean, I still liked it anyway, but yeah, it was kind of.
It's arguably one of the worst introduction cases in the franchise. It's really not that good. I'm sorry.
Not. Let's just.
It's a mess.
It is.
Anyways, we're moving on to the second case. You know how you got accused of murder in the first case?
Oh.
Well, guess what? You got accused of murder again.
Oops. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, let's do it 2 times. Why not? It's like, we haven't done it twice to a character yet. Oh, let's do that. Oh, okay.
In the same game! Oh my god!
I'm like, Capcom, guys, do you hate your characters? Do you hate them?
Hey, we just met the dude and he's been accused of murder twice.
And this time, the victim is, dun dun dun, his best friend.
This sounds oddly familiar.
I
wonder where I've seen this plot before. First game.
Right? It's like, guys, at least try to be original. Like, seriously, he got... his best friend gets killed off the way Mia does. I'm just like...
I don't know why, but this game really loves to make, like, references to the first game.
Right?
There are so many different references. It's not even funny. It's not subtle.
It's not.
At all. It's like, hey, guess what? You remember this game, right? You remember this from the first game, right? These two are related. Ha ha ha. Like, I get it. It's literally called the Great Ace Attorney. What would make you think that it's not an Ace Attorney game?
Right? It's like, ooh, hey, let's put this here. Ooh, and let's put this here. Ooh, and we have more in store for you guys. Guys, stop. Come up with your own plots. Please. Stop it.
Whoa. Calm down, buddy.
God. But yeah, like, he basically, okay, so Kazuma has, he plans to have his best friend stow away on this cruise to the ship to Great Britain, and
yay!
Yep, but you know, he accidentally gets killed along the way, and his best friend is framed, and now we have to prove our innocence to the cabin crew, to Kazuma's legal assistant, to Sato, and to Sherlock Holmes, who helps us in this case because why not? Herlock Sholmes. This is where we first meet him,
This is where we meet all the important characters, pretty much.
And
oh yes, Susato's not really happy about her partner being pretty much murdered.
Yeah.
You monster!
I didn't do it! You monster! Look at the seal! Okay, but you're still a monster! Oh, okay.
What did I do this time?
Yeah, get used to her tossing you on your ass multiple times. She loves doing that.
I don't know why, but she's less of an assistant, more so a whiny child you have to take care of for pretty much 8 hours.
Oh, roughly. Shit!
Maybe She does not really act like an assistant. It's more so she personally attacks you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like her, but yeah, you're not wrong. She's something in this game.
Something is a nice word of saying. She is a... I can't say the word because I respect women.
I think I know what word you're talking about, but... Actually, there are 2 words in mind, but either could work.
It's Women's History Month, okay? I can't say that.
It's what?
Women's History Month. I can't say it. I'm gonna get canceled.
Cancel blue. Oh no. No, banish blue.
Cancel blue. Oh no. She's a bitch.
But yeah, so
Oops.
Yeah, her introduction is pretty rough, and she helps you along with Sholmes. They help you solve the case of your murdered best friend, and the culprit is actually some Russian girl who was also planning to stow away on the ship because she hates her shitty country and she wanted to leave, and she accidentally kills your best friend. And I use kills in quotes, but we'll get to that later. And
yeah, it was an accident. Oopsies.
Yep. And she gets arrested, and it's like, yay. So yay, I'm not a murderer, but my best friend's dead, and now there's no one who can do the study tour. And then Sholmes is like, you can do it, and I'm like, what? But I know nothing about law. And then Sholmes is like, oh no, you can study. We still have 40 days. And then Susato's like, let's do it. And then
you can study. It's not hard.
Yep. So Naruhodo's like, okay. And then
I mean, with logic like that, why not?
Right? I mean, it's 40 days though. I'm like, you can't do all that shit in 40 days. But the game's like, fuck it, let them do it. So they make it to Great Britain.
Right.
and Naruhodo and Susato meet the Lord Chief Justice Strongheart, and he gives Naruhodo a trial, like, defend this client successfully, and you can be an attorney for real. Yay! And that's the beginning of the third case, The Adventure of the Runaway Room, which is okay. So
third case syndrome plays a role in here.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's just okay. So
you can remove it, and it doesn't really add anything to the plot.
It doesn't. So this guy is accused of murdering someone in an omnibus, which had other people on it at the time, but like he was like, there are 2 people sitting on top of the omnibus, 1 person driving in front, and 2 people in the omnibus itself, and then the 2 witnesses on top of the omnibus claim to have seen the defendant stab the other guy that was in the omnibus, and then shit happens. Oh, and by the way, there was a homeless girl hiding in the trunk of the omnibus, and yeah. So yeah, that's how that shit happens. The defendant gets arrested, and here we are.
Oops.
Now, okay, so why the defendant would even bother trying to stab someone in a location like that? I just...
People don't question it.
I know, I'm just...
They don't question it at all.
I know, like, dude, why would you stab someone right there? You could have done this in a private location, but you stab him right there.
In the middle of a train.
I just...
Oh, not
carriage, but yeah, I get what you mean.
But yeah, carriage, whatever. Whatever, a mode of transportation in public. It doesn't matter. I don't really care about this case.
Yeah, and... Yeah, I don't know why. Just... Okay. So, it's just... And, okay, and another thing is that... So, what the defendant was discussing with the other man who was stabbed, it was a deal involving a music box disc that contained top secret government communication. But the guy...
Why would they put a disc on there? No one knows. No one knows why they would put it on there.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Top secret, you know.
And the guy demands more money from the defendant.
No!
Yeah, and the defendant, for whatever reason, doesn't accept it and decides to just stab him instead. A stupid move. It kind of reminds me of what Tigray did. I don't know why. It kind of does, like, where these guys just made things a lot harder for themselves, and it's just like...
Yeah, because, let's see, Tigray murdered Glenn L. because, well, he wanted money.
And here...
This guy here we are with this person who apparently killed someone else because he didn't want to give up more money.
And I'm just like, dude, if you weren't going to pay for it, you could have at least taken the guy to another location and just killed him right there. But no, kill him right there in the worst place possible. And
then be shocked when you get accused of murder.
I know, it's just like, oh my god. And then, of course, the defendant also, blackmails the homeless girl into doing a dirty deed for him, hiding evidence from the crime scene.
Are you sure this is a good person? Are we supposed to be defending this dude? Because he sounds more like a criminal than the actual criminal.
Right? And the prosecution, Lord Barack Van Zeeks, knows this. He knows this. And...
Ryu doesn't even question the fact that, well, his defendant's doing all this stuff. How in the world is he not gone to jail yet?
I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah, so we have to go through the process of proving the defendant's innocence. But, okay, so the homeless girl, she tosses a smoke grenade in the courtroom. Everyone just loses their shit and panics and gets out of there. The prosecution...
Reasonable.
Yeah. And the prosecution orders the omnibus to be secured. It doesn't get secured, of course. And somebody goes...
Oops.
Right? It's like... And somebody goes in and then just tampers with the crime scene. And...
Everything goes wrong, I guess, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Everything goes wrong.
Yep. And of course this backfires, and so the prosecution ordered the omnibus to be secured, but of course that didn't happen because the defendant bribed one of the court officials, and so the defendant gets off scot-free because, oh no, now we have conflicting evidence or some shit. And the main character...
But you really don't want to, defend him, because he's not really a good person, but okay.
Yeah, because at this point we know that the guy is messed up. He basically shows his true colors at that point. And... and the main character is like...
You see, he's not a murderer. He's just everything else.
Basically. Yeah, and even the main character's like, no, this isn't right. Like, no, Judge, you can't do this. Like, please, don't blame the prosecution. He ordered the omnibus to be secured. And the judge is like, still, it wasn't. Oops. And then...
It wasn't, you idiot.
And then... Yeah, and then, of course, the defendant gets a not guilty verdict, but it's not really deserved. And the prosecution's like, mark my words, defendant, you will pay. Of course, he wasn't wrong, because in the next case number 4, what was it? The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. What's it?
Yes, the Clouded Kokoro.
And, oops. Yeah, so
Yeah, guess who's the victim?
okay, so in this one, okay, this case is pretty well. Actually, before we get to that one, okay, so the defendant got killed in a cutscene. Like he got trapped in the omnibus, and it was set on fire. And
Oh no, not again. God, not the omnibus again. Anything but the omnibus.
at least it was destroyed. I'm happy about that. Well, burned anyway.
At least the dude wasn't freaking stabbed in public.
True, but yeah, and Barack's and the judge are there, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And then we go into the next case, and it's not a murder this time.
What?
No, it's not a murder. Somebody got stabbed and lost consciousness, and I'm not sure how that works, but whatever. It's Ace Attorney, but nobody, nobody got killed.
No one died.
Nope,
Ew, that's not Ace Attorney.
nope. It's not Ace Attorney without someone dying or getting accused of murder multiple times. But yeah, so some young woman got in a green coat, was walking down an alleyway at night or whatever, walking down the street at night, and some Japanese man was behind her. She gets stabbed out of nowhere. The Japanese man runs like a little bitch, and well, there were witnesses nearby who saw what happened, and then the Japanese man gets tracked down and arrested by Sherlock Holmes himself. And yeah, now you're defending this Japanese man, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
And again, why would you want to defend this dude? I mean, he runs away.
He ran away.
Hmm.
He ran away.
He got away! Damn, they got away!
God. Yeah.
Don't worry, Shadow. Leave it up to me.
Right?
I'll catch them.
It's like, damn, they got away! Leave it to me, I'll chase them down.
I'll chase him down. Proceeds to lose him.
It's like, you could have caught them now. Like, you're not going to catch them later if you can't catch them now. Sorry.
Oops. Anyways, enough of distractions.
Yes.
Back to the case. I know we don't really like this game.
Yeah. This... Okay, so I'll talk about adventures overall after we've discussed the cases because... Okay, so case 4... So...
You already explained what, really happened. Like, oh, how this person got accused.
Yeah. And... Okay, so... Okay, so we go to trial, and we have to fight against Barack Van Zieks again, who likes to throw wine bottles and glasses everywhere because why not? He might as well be Godot's ancestor, I guess. Whatever. Okay, so this is when the game starts to introduce, I believe, summation examination? No, actually that was for the third case, but this one...
That was the third case, but you don't really do it in the third case. It's heavily implemented in this case.
And in the dumbest way possible. Okay. So... Okay, so the Ryunosuke makes a compelling argument about how the defendant likely couldn't have been the one to have been at the scene of the crime, but the prosecution...
It's like, you gotta prove that.
Yeah, so we do, but the prosecution's like, oh, no, you forgot about this piece of evidence. But you didn't show it! You didn't show it! It's like, there were 3 books at the scene. Oh, no, there were 4. What?!
There's 4? Yeah, I got one. Didn't you know?
No!
No?
Because you didn't...
You didn't say anything.
God. And this logic that... Okay. And this logic for the defendant actually being... Okay, so the lawyer argued that there was construction going on at a certain street and that the defendant couldn't have taken that street to get home, which made sense. But the prosecution provides evidence that shows that he could have, but still it's like, okay, so you're expecting me to believe that the defendant actually jumped a 2-meter gap, and the roads were icy, by the way, and landed perfectly.
So you expect this
right?
not slipping at all on the ice to stab someone.
Yeah. And then drops his books like an idiot, a clumsy idiot, and then runs away. You expect... What kind of argument...
It's Ace Attorney, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same series, right? It's the same series where a bunch of people couldn't like process the idea that they could simply walk on grass or asphalt around a giant head that was blocking the path. But I just...
This is the same series where someone can get hit in the head with a fire extinguisher and all they get is amnesia, but someone else gets hit by a little statue and they die.
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so now the defendant was actually at the scene of the crime, but
because of a dumb coincidence.
Yeah.
Oops.
Multiple dumb coincidences. And
it was full of them for some reason. I don't know why.
Right? It's like there were three events going on. Like there were three events all happening at once, and then that shit.
They're all messily connected in a way, and it's just
right, like
the way they have to explain to the player how they're all somehow connected is just a mess. It doesn't work.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't. It's perverse. It's made. There's more questions than answers.
I know. And so the three events are, okay, again, the victim and the defendant were walking down the street at night. At the same time, there were two people who were out celebrating their anniversary, and at the same time, there were two people having a domestic domestic in their apartment upstairs, like on the second floor or whatever. And when all three events came into contact with each other, shit happened, and you have this case. So
yay.
Yeah. So see, what happened was that the wife who was in the apartment, she was throwing shit at her husband because she thought he was cheating on her, although her reasons for doing so were unfounded. But this is Ace Attorney, so people are stupid.
What do you expect?
Yeah. So she kept throwing shit at him, knives, flaming books, whatever. And one of those knives hit the window of their apartment. It was one of those windows that opened outward. It hit the window, flew right down, and hit the victim's back. And
so it was involuntary assault?
Yeah, basically.
Attempted murder? I guess.
I don't know. Honestly. Oh.
It was a dumb coincidence that this person got attacked, and it was a dumb coincidence that this person got accused.
Yeah. And see, the reason why the knife landed in the victim's back was because, well, there was also another book that was thrown out the window, and the victim wanted to go and pick it up because she was curious, and then that's when the knife hit her back.
Woo from the heavens and stabbed this person in the back.
Yeah, and then the defendant was like, "Oh shit!" and then runs away. And then the couple who are on their anniversary, they saw what happened. They go and one of them goes and gets help, and the other tampers with the crime scene because the crime scene was on in his neighborhood, like his area of coverage, because he was a police officer, and he didn't want to have that ruin his anniversary because he hardly got to spend any time with his wife. So he decided to just yeet the victim's body to just across the street. And yeah, that's how the crime scene got tampered with, but he forgot the flowers that his wife dropped over there, so that's how the lawyer figured out, oh wait, the crime scene was tampered with. The victim was actually stabbed here. And yeah, that's how it goes. Oh. It's like...
Yeah, so you can see why this defendant did not really deserve it. It's like Maggie Bird level of unlucky.
Basically. Yeah, he's basically a Maggie Bird, except a lot more...
He's the Maggie Bird.
Yeah. Just a lot more nervous.
And and not as unlucky.
Yeah.
It just so happened that a knife flew out of a window into another person's back, and the reasonable response was to, of course, run away.
Yeah. Of course.
Because, of course, you don't want to be next, do you?
Right?
I think they asked that in the trial. I'm not even sure, but like someone replied, like, well, if you see a knife fly out the window, what would you do?
Yeah, it's like you can't really blame him. Like he just, I mean, yeah, he could have helped the victim, but like he was scared. Like, just run the fuck.
It came out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's like, oh shit. So yeah.
Ah, a knife.
Yep. And but you know the case ends with the wife, the abusive wife getting arrested, but
Yay!
But that's not the end of the story, though. That's particular part of the story.
No, that's part one.
That's part one. Like the second case of the second game is directly connected to this one. So, and guess what?
But you won't figure it out in the next game because time constraints.
Yep.
Oops. Yeah, so you go from this case to like something completely different. You're just like, what?
Yeah, it's weird, but now we go to case 5, The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story, where
oh, it's definitely unspeakable, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's unspeakably long.
It is. So what happens is that the owner of a pawn shop gets murdered. Oops. And the homeless girl who was in the third case gets blamed for it. And the reason she was even in the pawn shop so late at night was because she thought, oh, I bet Sholmes pawned Iris Watson's manuscript, because I think he did that. And so she went to investigate, and then yeah,
he just so happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Basically,
and, hey, you're accused of murder. Oops.
So now we have to prove her innocence, and of course, we get to meet one of the. Now, this witness, this character,
this individual who we shall not name because I don't remember his name and I don't feel like looking up his name.
Ashley Graydon.
Yeah, Ashley Graydon. This person.
He originally went by the alias Eggert Benedict.
Yeah.
And he's actually a telecommunications officer, a really good one, actually. And
wonder why he's not the police chief.
Me neither. And
they gave it to the guy who doesn't want to ever do his job.
Right? Although he actually is kind of useful in the second case of this game, so I guess there's that. He gets beaten up, but oh well. Except the losses.
Oops, he gets jumped.
Right? The captain just messes his ass up. I'm like, what the fuck?
Beats up.
Yeah, because you weren't supposed to let the murder suspect investigate. I'm sorry, I had to. Boom, boom, boom. And
what is wrong with you?
But I did it for the truth. Boom, boom, boom. You hate Asians. Boom, boom, boom. No, that's not what happened. But anyway.
Boom, boom, boom.
But yeah, so we have to investigate, and well, it's okay. So this guy, so he comes in. Well, before the murder, this guy, he came into the pawn shop, and the homeless girl was trying to pawn something that the defendant from the third case told her to pawn. The guy comes in and says, "No, that shit's mine," and he fights with the girl for it. And I'm just like, dude, you could just buy this shit from her. You don't have to fight with her over it.
Fight. Yeah. But that would make sense.
Yeah.
Not that wouldn't be a murder.
Yeah, right? It's like, oh, but that would make sense. But no, he goes and and the shit wasn't even his to begin with. And it's just like, and
this all could have been resolved if, this dude kind of minded his own business.
But he didn't. And Then the Inspector Gregson, I forgot about him. I'll talk about
Oh yeah,
him.
he exists.
Yeah, I'll talk about him later. He was just not handled very well. I'll talk about him
He
later.
doesn't do much.
Nope. And he comes in, and then he's like, he decides to take. Oh right, Gina had like one half of the music box disc. There were two halves. Gina had one of them.
It's a long story.
Yeah. But yeah, and so again we skip ahead to right after the murder, and oh wait, that reminds me. So there was an alarm that was raised at the pawn shop. So Ryu, Susato, and Sholmes go and investigate it. Sholmes gets shot because there are two other people there who are working with the guy who actually shot the pawnbroker. And the two guys run away. Ryu tries to catch them, but then fails, comes back. Susato tells him to look through the storeroom. There's a peephole in the storeroom door. He looks through it, and he sees the homeless girl, Gina, and the pawnbroker in the same room. The homeless girl was passed out. The pawnbroker was dead, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And so now he's going to defend her. At first, she doesn't want to defend him, but she stops being a little sundier bitch, and it's just like, okay. It's like, okay. And so we investigate, and then we go to the trial, and we do a shit ton of arguing, and we find out that the guy who argued with the homeless girl for shit she wanted to pawn was actually the killer, the guy who killed the pawnbroker. And yeah, so he broke into the pawn shop because he wanted to take the other half of the music box disc. Like the inspector had the first half, so he just wanted to go and find the other half before anyone else did. Although he really didn't have to rush ahead like that, but whatever. He goes in. The pawnbroker catches him. The pawnbroker shoots him with his gun, which had only a single bullet for some reason. But anyway, the murder suspect shoots him and then runs away. The two people he was working with run away as well. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like
I guess I don't remember much with this case, so I'll just say this: yes.
Yeah. So the reason why this guy, Ashley Graydon, the guy who killed the pawnbroker, so he.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he actually had a poor upbringing, but then worked hard and studied and became a really skilled telecommunications officer. But
you see, people, hard work gets you places. Murder gets you jail time.
But he fucked that up because he wanted cash, and he decided to start engaging in selling secret info about his country to other countries, which is an act of treason, by the way, punishable by death. But money for him. So okay, whatever, acceptable losses, and so that's why he made that music box shit. Actually, no, he had his father help him with that.
Thanks, father.
Yeah, apparently his father didn't know about what he was doing until very late, and he was like, "No, you know what? Let me."
No, I'm not gonna not doing that. Just let it happen.
Yeah, so he decided to the communications officer was supposed to meet the defendant of the third case to score a deal, to sell a deal with him about selling government information, but
gasp.
But the communications officer's father was like, no, you know what? Let me go in your place because I don't like what you're doing. I want to make.
I don't like you, so I'm gonna do it myself.
And then he got stabbed. So
oops.
And then the communications officer was like, OMG, you killed my dad! I shall kill you! And then arranges for the.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, and then he arranges for the guy, for the defendant in the third case to get killed by, locking him in the omnibus and burning him alive.
Oops.
Oops. And then,
Yummy.
yeah, and then he's like, I have to go and get that music box shit back. But then,
This all because of a music box.
yeah, which had information in the form of Morse code, so when you played it, it wouldn't actually, be like a song. It would just be a series of...
Like, yeah, the government secrets are here. La 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 la, sunshine. It's not that easy. You have to translate Morse code, and if you can translate Morse code, I salute you because I can't.
Yeah, I can't either.
I'm not alone, guys.
But yeah, so yeah, he's like he wanted revenge, but in the end he became the very monster he wanted to
I
fight.
did it for power and money and greed. Ugh.
And then Van Cease is like, dude, you became the very thing you sought to destroy. And then he was like,
Isn't that kind of ironic?
right? and then the communications officer Graydon was like, yeah, I fucked up. And then case over.
Oops.
Yep.
Yay! Everyone wins.
Yep. Of course, that's not the end of the game, of the series, of course. Yeah, I mean, there's more. Trust us, there's more.
There's more. There's more?
Yep. Oh, and...
Yeah.
oh, yeah, and the Morse... so, in order to... So, at one point, the Ryunosuke wanted to play what was on the music... The two music box discs on the music box, and Gregson was like, no, don't do it, that's top secret information. Then Ryunosuke's like, okay, well, just tell us everything about the case then. Tell us everything you know. He's like,
no.
It's like, okay.
Nah, it's secret.
Then it starts playing.
How are we supposed to help you if you won't tell us anything?
Yeah, so he starts playing the music box, and then Gregson's like, stop! Okay, I'll tell you everything I know! And
It's not like Ryu knows Morse code.
yeah.
What are the chances that the person you're talking to knows Morse code? Very frickin' slim, so...
Yeah, honestly. So, yeah, that's the thing. Very few people would know it. Oh, and by the way, Miss Iris Watson, the young girl living with Sherlock Holmes, she actually...
Yeah, I kind of forgot about her.
Yeah.
She kind of doesn't do anything.
No, except for,
Kind of like Pearl. Kind of like Pearl in a way from the original trilogy, where she was just kind of there and didn't really help with the case. I mean, there were a few instances, like in case 2 of game number 3, but other than that, Iris is just kind of there.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, it's the cute character. The cute kid character who we have to hang around for a couple of cases.
Yeah, although she was surprisingly useful in case 5, but that was it.
Of course, it's case 5.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let me show you guys this chemical I made that can detect blood. And it turns out...
Why couldn't you use that before?
I don't know. And it turns out being...
Because you didn't ask.
That...
You didn't ask.
And it turns out being useless anyway, which I honestly figured from, like, even before the game brought it up. I'm like, guys, this is not standardized evidence. You can't use it. It's like...
You're not legally allowed to allow this.
Yeah, it's like...
If you're gonna bring it up, at least make it useful.
Yeah. All it just did was prove that there are more than, like, 2 shots fired at the scene. There are actually 3 shots fired. Not 2, but...
Shots fired. You're fired.
Yep. Surprisingly, Gregson doesn't get fired. Because he was trying to, like, operate in secret and get the music box disc himself, but he did at the cost of nearly getting an innocent girl framed for murder, and Van Cease was like, dude, don't do that shit again. And Gregson's like,
Don't do it again. It's okay. Let's go get rid of people accused of murder. Okay.
But, yeah, actually a lot of people get in trouble. Gina gets accused of, like, breaking in... she gets charged with breaking in a shop. and Gregson gets charged with obstruction of justice. Ryunosuke gets
As he
charged.
should.
Yeah, he deserved that, honestly. And Ryunosuke gets charged with, although this wasn't really his fault, he gets charged with the helping somebody escape a guilty verdict in the third case.
Oops.
Yeah. Several people
It
get in
wasn't
trouble.
really his fault, so...
But the law didn't care. I'm like, okay, fuck you. And so he was basically disbarred, just like his descendant. And
get it? Ha ha ha.
yeah, and for 6 months he wasn't allowed to practice law, and he had to go back and study more. It's like, okay, let me study all these British legal books and shit. And then
Yay, Britain.
Yep.
And he did, and he got his badge back. Yay!
Yay! And Gregson...
Only to immediately get it taken away again. Just kidding.
No, don't worry. It's... Oh god, that reminds me. Like, there was something that didn't something like that happen in Investigations too, where Miles is like, "You want my badge so badly, Justine Courtney? Here, you can have it.
Just take it." Yeah, he gets his badge taken away, and he's just like, "Screw it! You want my badge? Here it is. Here you go." And then he immediately gets it back, like later when he proves that, like, I think it was Blaze the best. Yeah, Blaze the best is.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point of taking it away?
What's the point of taking away the badge if he already like proved that someone is a murderer?
Yeah, like he got it back in like a day or so. Like, it's like, that's it.
Isn't that his job to make sure that the truth is found and people are taken to jail?
No. No, I mean, but
that's not his job.
Like,
his job is to just talk to some random girl about the little thief, and yeah. Miles' job is to basically teach everybody that simple logic can help you solve murders.
Basically. But yeah, that's basically the...
The victim was shot with this gun. He has a bullet hole. He's bleeding. There's a gun near the scene of the crime. Therefore, the victim was shot with the gun. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to
that was
Great Ace Attorney. It's not really great if it's like...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's so great to the point where we usually have to call it the Great Ace Attorney.
Right, it's like the Great Ace Attorney. Are you sure?
The Great Ace Attorney, where the Ace Attorney gets his badge taken away, he keeps constantly getting accused of murder, and he doesn't really do his job because he doesn't really want it.
Right, like he didn't even want to be a lawyer. He wanted to be an English professor. And it's like
a great English professor who happened to know a little bit about solving murders.
Yep. And everyone's like, "You're talented, man. You should do this." But I don't want to. Do it. Okay.
You get money. Okay.
But yeah, that's how the... Oh, right. So going back to Iris Watson. So she listens to the Morse code that was played in... She listened to the Morse code that was played in court, and then she realizes, wait, what are these names I just heard? And then everyone's like, wait, what is this? T. Gregson? K. Asogi? What is this shit? And it's like,
whoa!
What is this information? You'll find out what it means later, but yeah.
Much later.
But yeah, like... Oh yeah, and another stupid thing about Case 5, where it's like, the main character proves that Graydon, the guy who committed the murder, lied in his witness account, and because Van Zieks himself said, okay, well, if this guy lies, then he will have incriminated himself as a killer. Okay, I proved that he lied, but, you're not gonna...
We don't accuse him of murder.
Yeah, it's like you...
What's the point of bringing that up if you're not gonna fall through?
Yeah, like you could have said, okay, okay, he lied, so that means that Gina's innocent. Gina's innocent. She couldn't have done it. But you
didn't really actually prove it. He just happened to lie at the wrong time.
It's just like, oh my god.
What? He told me that if he lied, he would self-incriminate himself.
It's like, no, sorry. It's like, but you
Did
just
I
said
tell you that? Yeah. Did I tell you that? I was lying. I was kidding. It's a joke.
just like this game. Anyway,
I mean, you're not wrong.
no.
Except the joke's funny.
Oh shit!
The joke's funny. This is more like painful torture.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't tell, I don't like this game
Oh shit.
at all. I don't. There's too many things wrong with it for me to actually enjoy the game.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and just talk about the things overall that drag this game down. For one thing, Sholmes. Okay.
Basically does all the work for you, and
Yeah.
you don't do anything.
Basically, I'm like, okay, I thought we were supposed to be investigating. Why do you keep coming in and trying to do all the work for us? Let us do shit, please.
Nah.
No, it's just really annoying. It's like the main character has to constantly be bailed out by this.
Well, speaking of the main character, he's not a good main character.
Ouch.
I don't care for Ryu. Because he's constantly put in situations where it's just like he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of things that happen to him are just actually almost everything that happens to him is out of his control, and he's just like, "Please, I don't want to
He's
be
just
here."
unlucky. That's the thing, and it's just like, why? The game constantly reminds you, like, hey, Ryu doesn't want to be a lawyer, but he's doing it anyways. He's being forced to do all this stuff. You should sympathize with him. Poor Ryu. That's basically one way I can sum up the game. Poor Ryu. He didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He didn't need to be put in any of these situations.
Basically. I'm trying to think of... Oh, right. So another common complaint about this game is the pacing.
It's slow. It's so slow. Especially the last case. I don't know why. I get it. It's the last case. You want to build up everything and be all suspenseful and stuff like that. But padding out the case about 5 times is not necessary and it's not good.
Yeah, it's going and to just further emphasize this point, I recently started playing the original trilogy on my Switch, and when I played the first 2 cases of the first game, I was like, wow, holy shit! I did not realize how drawn out the cases of the Great Ace Attorney were compared to these cases. Like, holy shit! It's just...
Because they want to emphasize the fact that Ryu is not actually an attorney. He's not good. He's still studying, and he's not used to how legal system works. Therefore, he acts like an idiot half the time. And it's just like, Gabe, I get it.
At least he's not as dumb as Phoenix.
Phoenix had a sense of dumb in him, but like, it was cockiness.
Yeah.
Ryu, he's just a nervous wreck that does not want to be there and looks like he's about to pass out every 5 seconds on the stand. Well, the stand, like the bench, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, which the game constantly makes fun of his facial expressions. It's just like...
Yeah, because he's always like standing up straight. He's sweating all the time. He looks like he's gonna faint, and it's just like, why am I playing as this guy?
Right.
I'd rather be Herlock Sholmes at this point, because at least he does more than Ryu.
Right. Yeah, I feel like putting Herlock Sholmes in the story was just a bad decision. Like it was just a bad decision. It was bound to backfire because, again, just like with the Professor Layton series crossover, you have one character that basically does all the shit for you, and you don't get to do anything.
He's the game's excuse as to why Ryu even has any of this information.
Basically.
Because Herlock Sholmes does the investigating, not Ryu. Ryu just kind of stands around and just let Herlock do all the thing. And Herlock, He's not a good person. He really isn't.
He's
He
not.
finds out secrets and uses them against people just so he can be manipulative and get what he wants.
Yeah.
Like a spoiled brat.
Not to
A
mention,
spoiled British brat.
that's the thing. He does act spoiled at times. He does. He really does.
Well, I want to solve it because I want to do it, and I'm the investigator here.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to see why Gregson doesn't like him. It's it's just
Or anyone at this point.
yeah. Even Ryu has even even Susato, who's like a big fan of his, like one of his biggest fans. Even she gets annoyed with him on occasion because he's just annoying. He's just not a good person.
Susato, half the time she doesn't want to be with Ryu. She really does not want to like be with Ryu. She's only there because of Sherlock.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you even with me if you're not going to help in the slightest and you're just going to make comments towards me?
Yeah. Although, I mean, she does have a book full of lots of information somehow. She has information on everything in that book. I don't know how, but I mean, there's that at least.
It's a magical book of plot convenience.
Basically. It's like, hey, Susato, how does this work? Let me bring out my book really quickly. Hold on. Ah, here. Okay.
Oh, I wonder why Susato knows all this stuff. Foreshadowing?
Huh.
Like the second game, first case, foreshadowing? I wonder when all this knowledge will actually come into use.
Right?
Anyways.
But, I can't think of anything else to say about the first game.
I mean, I like the art direction. It's a pretty good game. It's pretty I like it. Considering this is made in 2015 for the 3DS, it actually looks pretty good.
It does. I mean, it's better than whatever that crossover was.
Yeah, the models in that game are not that good. I mean, I said Phoenix looks pretty good, and
Yeah.
Maya looks pretty good, but everyone else just looked off.
Everyone else, it's just like, ew.
At least here, I'm not wondering how in the world a book transports 4 individuals into some random town, and how an entire town decided to pretend to do stuff just so to protect one girl's innocence. And I'm not constantly scratching my head at the decisions people make. Well, not as much.
I don't know. Yeah, the game's premise is stupid.
It's really dumb.
And
It's pure coincidence after pure coincidence after pure coincidence.
yeah, that's the thing. And again, there are so many that's the thing. There are so many contrivances to the point where it's like, okay,
It sounds like they're making it up as they go.
basically. Like that gold statue thing
A
with
knife
Professor.
flies out the window because some wife is arguing with her husband because she thinks he's cheating on him, but it turns out he wasn't. He's just constantly always busy with work because he has a job and has to support him and her, but she doesn't like that. Some guy is also standing around, and he just so happens to just walk by this person. He sees a knife fly into the sky, it hits the girl after one of the books fall, and he runs and gets scared, and people are expected to, like, assume that he jumped 2 meters to get to the other side. Bob, when's our break?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, adventures. Okay. Well, and see, okay, so going to Resolve. Oh my god, I have so much to say about Resolve.
You think the first game was bad? Oh, you have not played Resolve.
Yeah, like Resolve.
You.
Yeah, Resolve.
It's the same, if not worse, than the first game. It's just as big as a mess as it was. And it feels like they didn't fix anything at all. They made things worse and more confusing.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to rip Resolve apart because I have so much to say about it.
Well, what are we waiting for?
So let's go into the first case. So, all right,
Which
that's
is the only interesting case, in my opinion.
damn. Although,
Everything else is a snooze fest.
to be honest, the cases. To be honest, I found only like cases 3 and 4 boring, but yeah,
It's more engaging. I will say this: it's more engaging than the first game, but still, they somehow made it worse than the first game. I don't know how, but it was possible.
yeah, unfortunately. Oh, and I should also point out. So, okay, at the end of the first game, Susato had to leave because her father was ill, so she had to go back to Japan to visit him. But guess what? He's not ill at all. So
She just went back just because.
yeah,
Because screw you, Ryu.
right. Like the father had a reason, but I can't be bothered to remember. So in the first case, Susato's best friend gets accused of murder. Man, Capcom just loves to recycle old plots, don't they?
They love to accuse the best friends of people, and they also love to accuse the assistant at times, more particularly people who are into, like, occult stuff, and likes to tie their hair back into a bun,
Right?
and likes to be a spirit medium, and anyone who's related to that, or anyone who likes to do magic, or someone who just likes to become an attorney at the age of 18, and Jesus, Capcom, do you not like women?
No, they don't. Why else have we not had a competent female? Well, Mia was an exception, but we have not had a competent. Yeah.
Mia was there for a few cases until, oops, a statue.
Yeah. See, I wanted more Mia because, like, Athena's not competent. I refuse to believe it. She's not. Mia, that was.
She acts more like a child.
Yeah, and that's probably one thing I found annoying about her character. She just kept acting childish over everything. Like, girl, I get it, you're emotional, but calm the fuck down. Damn. But
But gee, that would make sense.
true, and it wouldn't be Ace Attorney otherwise. But
Because you need wacky characters in a wacky series with a wacky law system.
yeah, unfortunately. But
Anyways,
yeah, in the first case, oh, by the way, the woman who you failed to catch in the very first case in the very first game, she gets her ass murdered here.
oops.
Oops. Because someone poisoned her. Who?
No, it doesn't look like she got poisoned. It looked like she got stabbed.
Yep. And there's a reason why. So the guy who... Okay, so the culprit poisoned her. He was a reporter that came in to her tent and started talking with her. I think he wanted interviews. She said some racist things about Japanese people, and then he didn't like that. And then he also knew that she was like she was
An assassin, I guess. I don't really know. She was like this person for hire, and he wanted to figure stuff out, but then she was like, no, you sound stupid, and he takes offense to that, so he poisons her. First off, you drama queen.
right.
Second, she kind of deserves it.
And third, how the hell did you poison her without her noticing?
Honestly, for a person who happens to be someone for hire, and like you're kind of used to assassinating people, you don't notice someone trying to poison you.
Yeah, and the game didn't even show how. Like it's like the writers knew that it was bullshit. I'm just like,
So they just say, "Oh, she got poisoned."
I'm like, but how?
Because she wasn't paying attention. What?
Yeah,
No, she was looking at him the entire time.
Yeah, like she had her drink in her hand and she was looking at him the entire time. How did he slip the poison into her drink without her noticing? How? Like it,
Unless you somehow leaned over, put the poison in her drink, and she somehow not notice. There's no way this person should be poisoned if she was not freaking there right at you.
at least they could have made it so that she, left her drink.
Got distracted
Yeah.
by something.
Yeah. They could have done that, but no. She
Yeah, like look at Trials and Tribulations Case 3. Glenn Elk was so excited for the fact that he won the lottery. Not long enough. So not LT, yeah, Furio Tigre, slips in the poison.
Yeah, they could have done something like that, but no. It's just like have him argue with her, and have her argue with him, and then she gets poisoned for what? How did she?
What?
Did she want to die or something? Clearly not, because when someone else finds her like stabbed, she points to an area of the hut where she got stabbed. So she wanted someone to catch the murderer. So it's like, I don't.
She wanted to get kept.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the guy poisoned her, but then he was like, oh wait, that poison's traceable. I better stab the woman so that no one can tell she was poisoned. I'm like, dude, there's no need for you to do that.
What was the reason?
Yeah, like
what's the reason?
Yeah, it was easily traceable because there was only one place where it could have come from. But that you still could have gotten away with it. It's like, even if they thought, oh, you probably did it, they'd still have to prove that you had a way of taking the poison, which they didn't have at the time. And it's...
But no, you decided to stab her and have evidence be traced back to you.
Yeah.
Because...
Right? The dumbass takes a picture of the event and sends it to the courthouse.
The worst murder in the world.
Oh, Jesus.
Worse than Frank's side.
Worse. I know, like 10 times worse. And his camera had a little defect on the lens, which the picture caught. And it's like, oh, we can use this to identify the killer. And I'm just like, oh my god.
At least when Frank saw it, he didn't take a picture of literally the murderer and then send it in somewhere. Sure, he said, oh, there was a phone ringing, and I didn't go in, and then immediately says he went in to answer the phone. But...
Yeah. At least, Jesus Christ, like, holy shit. You could have just left the scene. You didn't need to take a picture. You didn't need to stab the woman. You could have just left... Okay.
But it would make sense.
Yeah, and it's like, and I don't know. It doesn't make any fucking sense. This first case, I mean, I liked it, but yeah, it was.
I mean, it's kind of interesting because it introduces the fact that like Sasato's villains like pretend to be someone else.
Yeah,
she pretends to be a guy, Ryu's cousin, I believe.
Yeah.
And goes in and acts as a defense attorney, and since she so happens to know a lot about law, she's able to prove that her friend is not guilty.
Yeah. And her father's the co-counsel, of course. And somehow, there were two witnesses, Natsume and Hosonaga. They somehow don't realize that Susato is in disguise because, I don't know.
What, me?
Yeah, but the judge knew. Well, I mean, he's a family friend, so it made sense. But the other two somehow didn't know. I don't fucking know how or why. It's Ace Attorney. I don't know. At this point, I'm just so done with everyone's stupidity. I'm sorry. I'm just so done. It's so...
the more you question it, the more confused you're gonna become. So be like me and just roll with it.
Good point. And... now we get to, but yeah, yay, the defendants.
Yay, we proved that she's not murdered. Yay, woo!
Yay. And, yeah. So now we get to jump back to, we have to, do a flashback case where...
Because this series loves flashback cases for some reason.
Yep. Trials and Tribulations had like two of them.
They love making the cases out of order. For some reason, I have no idea why. Starting in game number 2, I believe.
Yeah.
They put it to where, like, the cases are not in chronological order.
Yeah. And so for the second case of Resolve, it's actually a continuation of this, the fourth case of this.
A fourth case?
Of the first game. Yeah. So.
For some reason, they push it back here, but in reality, it's because of time constraints.
Yeah, so they had to. I forgot to switch slides. Sorry. The first case of the.
Yeah, you didn't switch slides. I was trying to tell you subtly.
But so the first case was The Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney, and the second case, which is what we're on right now, Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. And yeah, so okay, so here another person. So remember the defendant from the fourth case of the first game? Well, he's the defendant again.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oops.
He got accused of murder again.
I'm telling you, he's Maggie Bird.
Basically, he is. He's a Japanese Maggie Bird. Basically,
he's a Japanese male Maggie Bird because he constantly gets accused of murder because he's in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yep. And this time, the victim is his neighbor, who likes to talk like Shakespeare.
Oops.
Yep. And he...
I wonder how he does.
Oh, but wait! He's not actually dead!
Gasp!
Right? It's just like the fourth case of the first game. Oh, no, the victim's not dead. It's like, but he was poisoned, but he wasn't dead. And when he woke up, he accused Mr. Natsume of killing him, of attempting to kill him, until Mr. Natsume got arrested, and now we have to prove his innocence. And okay, this case is just really fucking weird. I'm just gonna say it right now. Like, it's just so many.
It's a mess.
Yeah, so many weird things in it, like how the guy who was poisoned had been using this trick to use free gas because he was making ice coins that he just put in the meter, and
what
using soap bars. Like, it's
I know, but like I had to think.
Oh, I know. I just like
what? Why?
I was just trying to like mention that part to everyone. It's just it's really weird and convoluted. It's
a case, all right.
Yeah. And the gas company was on to him, and so yeah, and he was also trying to he blew into this gas pipe from a wall so that
You know why this case is so weird?
Yeah. And
it's all over the place.
Yeah, and he blows into the pipe to get the pilot light in Mr. Natsume's apartment to go out, which would cause gas to fill the room because it wasn't being burned off. And he was trying to do that to suffocate Mr. Natsume. And this had kept happening for a while. And eventually Ryunosuke figures all this shit out, and the culprit. Oh, he's just royally screwed. Like, he gets charged with murder because he also did the same thing to someone else years before, which caused the woman who was stabbed in the back with a knife to go and try to kill him because she spread poison on the pipe that he was trying to blow into to suffocate his neighbor, and it's just a mess. It's a mess. I'm sorry.
He gets accused of basically every crime in the book.
Yep.
Because why not?
Yep. Murder, attempted murder, also theft of gas, just theft basically, and yeah, he's not coming
the
out.
Gas. I mean, in today's society with these gas prices, I wouldn't blame him.
Right? Oh, and he didn't even have a job. So,
what a bum.
Yeah, he didn't have a job. Nor was he a student like the woman who tried to poison him. So he didn't even have a job. The woman technically had a job. He didn't. So he was not a student or someone with a paying job. He was just a bum. A funny bum, but a bum nonetheless. And Mr. Natsume actually made friends with him because they both liked to talk about Shakespeare, and they even got into a fight, Romeo versus Juliet, a physical fight. I don't know. Somehow Juliet won, and yeah.
I don't remember that from the play. I mean, last time I checked, I mean, both these people died, but
Yeah, it was just a really weird case, and
I
but
blame
yeah.
Shakespeare. I blame the dead white man.
Oh, his name was William Shamspeare, by the way. Shamspeare.
Oh yeah, it's Shakespeare. I apologize for getting a copyright strikes first with Sherlock Sholmes. Shakespeare. Because we can't actually say it because that costs money.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, like the culprit, he gets.
What's next? Edgar Alien Foe. Oh wait, I'm giving Capcom ideas.
Please don't, please don't.
Oh no, not again.
Please don't. But yeah, like the culprit gets captured.
Yay!
Yep, and the woman who was stabbed in the back. Well, that's right. I forgot to mention. So the guy
she comes back.
Yeah, and her boyfriend was the one that the culprit killed. You know, by trying to suffocate with gas. He killed her. Him. She didn't like that. She's like, let me just spread poison on this gas pipe. Tried to poison him. It didn't work. He almost died, but he didn't. So she tries to kill herself at one point, but then Ryu and company, stop her.
Oh, don't do that.
Yep, and she tries to hide, her involvement in the case, but then when she gets a motive for, helping catch the culprit, she's like, okay, I'll help out. And
a little too late for that, don't you think?
Yeah, so she gets charged with stuff too, but at that point she just didn't care. She was just glad that the culprit was caught.
Yeah. It's like, you can take me to jail, I don't really care. As long as this dude gets to, suffer in prison with me, I'm good.
Yeah. Like, she hated him. Like, she ripped him apart when he got caught.
She wanted that man to burn, okay?
Yeah. She even said at one point, I wish you'd died of that poison. I was like, damn!
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, what
a kind soul.
Right? I mean, I don't blame her for being... I wouldn't go that far, but honestly, I don't blame her for being mad, because, her boyfriend got killed.
Hey there, buddy. Are you trying to tell me something? Are you defending a murderer? Oh my god.
No, I'm just trying to be rational!
Exposed G-Man?
Say, no, please!
Cancelled, I'm taking over.
Cancelled G-Man. Oh no! But yeah, that is... Oh yeah, that reminds me. So, if you're wondering why the culprit was even trying to suffocate his neighbors in the first place, it's because he wanted that apartment that they were in, because there was some secret treasure hidden in there, but he was too slow. Someone else got to it. They both got to it before he did, so he tried to kill them off. Well, not kill them. He was just trying to run them out of the apartment, but he ended up killing one of them and almost killed the others. So, oops. Yeah, that case is a mess. Funny, but a mess. And yeah, let's just move on to the next case.
Good joke, haha.
Yeah, that's a good joke.
A good joke is, well, not this game.
Not Cardi B either. I can't think of any others.
Oh,
right. Sorry. Cardi electroencephalogram shit, whatever. I don't care.
Cardio Bacardio.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Cardio Bacon.
Yes. That's it.
That's their name.
But
no, I want some bacon. Bacon. Let me get some bacon. Screw the streamer eating bacon.
Maybe later.
But Whataburger's just down the road.
Not from where well, actually, it kind of... Well, I don't even know. I haven't gone to Whataburger in years. So I don't know.
It kinda is.
It's like, but Whataburger's everywhere. Yeah.
It's everywhere in Texas, sir.
True. Very true.
I mean, unless you go to like El Paso, there's like none.
What?
Why would you go to El Paso? Anyways, you see how uninteresting the game is? I'm literally talking about bacon.
Right? Don't worry. Like, and
We'd rather
honestly,
talk about food than this game.
yeah. And Case 3 and 4, I don't like them.
Ooh.
I just,
Ooh. 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 Ooh.
I'm just gonna say it right now.
Case
I don't like
3.
either. Case 3 in particular, I didn't like. To me, it dragged on for way too fucking long. And I was just like...
Okay, I would expect this out of the 5th case, but no, this game takes it too far.
I know. Like, and not to mention that there are moments where I was stuck not knowing where to go or what to do. And I was just like, I'm tired of this. I'm taking a break. This was the case that made me take a break from the game for a while. I was just like, no, I'm done. I was just tired because this case just dragged on for too long.
It's not a good case.
It's not. It's not. The plot
Before you start asking, well, what makes it not good? Just listen. Just listen.
Yeah, yeah. It's just. It's so stupid.
Would you please do the please do
So
the honors of explaining case 3, aka what the fuck?
yeah, or technically the Return of the Great Departed Soul, but honestly, that title is so irrelevant to the game's main case, and you'll see why. You'll see why it's irrelevant to the third case.
It has nothing to do with that.
Nope. Like the title references the very end of the case, the very end, and you'll see what I mean when we get to it.
I like to call this case clickbait the case.
Basically, that's
because the main name is not even a part of the case until the very end, and by then you've already solved the mystery.
Yep. Not to mention that. Well, actually, no. We'll get to that later. But yeah, the title is just clickbait. So
it's clickbait.
Yeah. So okay, there was this professor who was trying to do this experiment with instantaneous kinesis, what the fuck ever, like basically teleportation. But something.
It's a witch.
You know. Oh my god, it feels kind of like that now, except.
I mean, you would expect this in the crossover game.
Right, but here it's just no.
It's just so out of place. And it's not funny.
It's not. And see, that's the problem with this case. So, see, here's the thing. In this case, you actually have, for once, you have the advantage as to defense.
That's rare.
Right? Like, the prosecution is completely disadvantaged here. Completely. But, you'll see why that just doesn't work out for very long. You'll see why.
Because here's the thing. Nothing ever good happens to Ryu.
Nope. Because it's Ryu. If you're
It's Ryu.
Yeah. If you're related to Phoenix, you have to suffer. It's an unspoken Capcom rule. You have to suffer. You have to suffer. It's just... You see, Trucy suffers. She's not related to Phoenix, but she is technically his adopted daughter, so...
She gets accused of murder.
Yeah. And loses her father. But... Oops. It's just... Fuck this case. But anyway. So the experiment goes wrong, and the professor gets accused of murder because a body was found somewhere else. And then
somewhere else, conveniently.
Yeah, the Crystal Tower it was. And
just from the name alone, you can tell this is bad news.
Yep. Like okay, so we have to go and defend the professor. Oh, by the way, he happens to be an old friend of Brock Van Zeek's, because why not? And
oh god.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, Brock actually used to be a lot nicer," and everyone's like, "Nah, fam, you are lying. You are lying." But yeah, and so now we have to defend him. We go and investigate, and I don't even remember at this point. I don't care. Let's just skip to the trial. So it's that bad. Gina's an inspector now. You know, she's an apprentice of Inspector Gregson. Because Holmes forced Gregson to adopt Gina and take her as his apprentice. Because he's such a nice, caring person. Yes. So she's standing around the crime scene. We go and investigate it, and then we go to trial, and but beforehand, Iris Watson and Herlock Sholmes, both of whom are quite brilliant when it comes to science, they're both like, yeah, this guy's experiment is not. It's impossible. It can't actually happen. The laws of physics do not support it. So, but the professor strongly believes that his experiment was a success. So, we go to trial, but everything is on our side. Like, literally, there's just no way that... right? There's literally no way that the professor could have carried out this murder. Because, again, instantaneous kinesis can't fucking happen. But the prosecution decides to just assert that it can. But his arguments keep getting shot down. Especially by two jurors. The two of the jurors actually back up the defense, which is just really funny. They're like, no, you're wrong. The prosecution, sorry, you're wrong. You're just wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. You're fucking wrong. And the defense is like, oh wow, okay, things are actually going to my favor. But then the fucking defendant
decides to do something stupid.
And she's like, no, my experiment did happen! I can prove it! And then the lawyer's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Shut up! I'm actually trying to help you. We have a solid case here. But no, the defendant keeps saying shit that incriminates himself further. And, you know, it's just...
You know who he kind of reminds me of?
Who?
Ron DeLight.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
dude
him.
Who's just like, I'm guilty. I did this. I can prove it. Shut up. We're trying to save you.
It's like, but you know, I know, it's just so stupid because the defendant wants to protect this experiment. He's like, no, I believe it's a success. No, my lawyer is wrong. Shut up, lawyer. No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Lawyer.
Right, and it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. We're trying to help you. But,
I don't need your help.
And of course, you know, things get worse, and then the trial has to be delayed, so that
of course, it always is an excuse as to why the trial is delayed for some reason.
Yep. So now we have to go and do more investigating, and then the defendant's like, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I was an idiot." Yeah, you were. And
yeah.
And so now we do more investigating. We find out that a famed medical examiner is also involved in the case, along with a famed, or formerly famous, young scientist, the young engineer by the name of I don't know, Drebber, Mr. Drebber. I'll call him Mr. Drebber, and they're both like part of this plan to like frame the scientist for murdering the guy who funded his experiment, who happened to be the murder victim was the guy who happened to fund the scientist's experiment, and so
he just so happened to be involved.
Yeah, it's just one stupid coincidence after another, and so he was murdered because the medical examiner was being blackmailed by him, and I forgot how he affected Mr. Drebber. I don't remember. That case was stupid and too long, but yeah.
It's a long case.
Yeah, so, you know, they're involved somehow, and we even go to Mr. Drebber's workshop, and we find a shit ton of evidence, but we almost get blown up because Sholmes thought it was a good idea to fool around with the stupid great deductions. And then Mr. Drebber gets found in some safe he locked himself into, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, guys, there's a bomb there. Remember?" It's like, "Oh shit!
Oh no!"
And Sholmes goes and dismantles it, And it's like, we were almost blown up, Mr. Sholmes.
Okay.
And Sholmes just laughs it off. He's like, my bad. Like, okay.
Oops. Oh, guys.
Yeah, so and then we go to trial, and then we prove that Mr. Drebber, we try to prove that Mr. Drebber killed the victim, but he didn't. So now oh right, I forgot. There was also this waxwork museum shit that I forgot about because this case is too fucking long. So
it heavily relies on the fact that it's this experiment, and this guy does not want to reveal anything about the experiment. He reminds me of somebody from a certain game where he didn't want to reveal a magic trick because, well, that would help with the case.
Yeah, it's like, I'm
He's
just like,
willing to let him murder, get away, just so he can hide his magic trick.
I know, I'm just like, fam, do you not have any sense of self-preservation?
No, I want my magic. I want my science.
Okay, well, fuck you. But yeah, so there's this waxwork artist, and her waxwork was stolen from her museum, which was used in the murder plan because like it was used as a body double, and
the series also has a fascination with body doubles for some reason.
Investigations too. Sorry.
Investigations too.
Sorry.
Cough, cough.
But yeah, it's like, yeah, so, and she was trying to hide the fact that her waxwork was stolen, and ended up being important because it was actually the waxwork of some infamous murderer from 10 years ago named the Professor. And she was like, oh shit! Yep. And she had his face locked away because she saw his face. She had the key to this iron helmet that kept his face locked away. So then, but yeah, like her waxwork got stolen and was used in the murder plot. And so again, we go back to the trial here. Oh right, and Mr. Sholmes is also working as a waxwork here because he's low on money.
Plot convenience.
That too.
You know, he needs money. And you know, he's a great detective who's literally solving all these murders.
Yeah, but I'm like, fam, what are you doing? You should be rolling in cash. But I don't know. Especially since Iris fucking publishes books of all your adventures and exploits. You're just not gonna. How are you broke? You know, it's Ace Attorney. I'm not gonna question it. So we go to trial, and you have the medical examiner testifying, the young engineer testifying, the waxwork artist testifying, and someone else I can't remember.
Person.
But yeah, and throughout the trial, you piece together all the clues that point to the medical examiner being the killer of the victim, but it's done in the dumbest way possible, like the most confusing way possible. Like,
I mean, you would expect it to be dumb with Ace Attorney, but this is just balls to the wall, like dumb.
Yeah, like, okay, so the defense's logic is that. So the victim had, when he was stabbed in the chest, he had a blood stain that was running down his shirt. But,
that makes sense.
Yeah, so the victim was in this little chamber that was supposed to beam him to somewhere else, but he fell from the chamber like 9 feet down under the stage. And originally the medical examiner was like, oh, I stabbed him while he was already dead to make it look like I killed him or whatever. I can't remember what her stupid logic was, but no, he was actually not dead at that time.
It was really stupid.
It really was. But he wasn't dead at that time, and the defense is like, no. See, this bloodstain should be more evenly spread out. But it's spread in one direction, which means you stabbed him while he was standing up. Which means he was alive when you stabbed him. Ha! But it's like, how do you expect the player to piece together all of that?
You see, these games I want to say after. Actually, no. It started in the first game. They did these stupid like plot confusing things where it's nearly impossible for you to like figure out who the murderer is until they reveal one piece of evidence at the last minute. Be like, haha, it's you all along. I knew it. Like, what?
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid. Like I went through every single piece of evidence and looked at all the dialogue, and I was just like, what am I supposed to do on this part? Then I just guessed the one piece of evidence that seemed relevant because nothing else seemed relevant, and it's like, oh, I got it. But how?
Oh, I got it. You see, this proves everything.
It's like, but you
What?
never hinted at it. It's not to mention it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, okay, so someone gets stabbed while standing up. They're not gonna stand long enough for blood to drip down their shirt. I
Oh,
just
would you look at that? I got stabbed. Might as well fall to the ground. Oh!
do you see why I hate this case now? Do you see
See
why we
why I
don't
don't
like
like
it?
this game?
It's just, oh my god, this case is so. The one case that actually made me just rage quit. I was like, I'm tired of this case. I'm done. I'm out. I need a
Peace out,
break.
y'all.
Right? Like, honestly, this is to me is the worst. This is third case syndrome. To me, this is the worst case in the entire game. I just can't stand it. It's even worse than the
Okay, you're
second
not
one.
wrong. You're not
Yeah,
wrong.
it sucks. It sucks. I just did not enjoy it because it just didn't need to be as long as it was. It didn't need to be that long.
It's a third case. It should not be this long.
Yeah.
I mean, Spirit of Justice, even though I don't really like that game, that third case was not that long. Yeah, it was long, but it wasn't this freaking long. Jesus.
I know. It's just so fucking stupid. And the way the murder plan gets. I know it's Ace Attorney, but there's so many stupid contrivances here. Like one person manages to catch the very moment that the one of the conspirators in the murder fired a crossbow at some empty balloon filled with hydrogen. He caught the very moment that crossbow was fired, and I'm just like, wow. Okay. I mean, it's stupidly contrived, but okay.
Sure.
And then the dumbass leaves the crossbow at the scene of the crime. Why? I just, I don't. I think there was a reason for it, but I honestly can't remember. It's so stupid.
The reasoning behind it was questionable?
Yeah, I don't remember. See, that's the thing. Like, it's a stupid plan, and there were just so many
Twists and
contrivances.
turns that were absolutely unnecessary and just confusing to understand.
Yeah, like, see now this series is famous for having cross examinations where it's not really clear as to what evidence you should be presenting or what statement you should be arguing against. But here, I think it's at its worst, and it's just like, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I got stuck multiple times here because the game is just really bad about telling you about like hinting at you what you should be doing. It's so bad. And not to mention that it's honestly, this is a minor complaint, but it's honestly kind of stupid how when you go to the experimentation stage, you can go up to you could like there's like the entrance to the Crystal Tower, and then there's a stage you can go up to, but you can't go back down to the entrance to the Crystal Tower. You have to leave the entire area and then come back to get to that same area instead of just going down the stairs off the stage. So, why?
Plot convenience? Because the game said so.
It's just fuck this case. I just hate this case. I absolutely hate it. This case pissed me off. I can't. I just hate it.
You think this case is bad? Wait until the next case.
Case number 4. Oh my god. Case number 4. What is it? Oh, right. I forgot. At the very end of the case, Kazuma's revealed to be alive!
He's alive!
Hence the return of the great departed soul. Clip big title.
Great departed soul. He returned. His soul returned to his body.
Yep, so Kazuma...
Not murdered. Hee.
Yep, Kazuma wasn't actually murdered.
These two games love to play on the fact that, like, oh hey, you see, it's not all about murder. It's about assault. The great assault attorney.
Basically.
It acts less like a murder defense attorney, more so an assault defense attorney.
God. And the 4th case. This one is boring. I'm just gonna say it right now. It's boring. It's boring.
If we basically try to explain it, it can be summed up in a few sentences because it's that boring.
Yeah.
It doesn't really affect the plot whatsoever, and it's just kind of there.
Yeah. So
Let's just sum it up in a few sentences and then move on to that mess of the case 5.
Yeah. So Van Zieks he was investigating Gregson because he believed that Gregson was like part of the was working for the Reaper, like some criminal
ring.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So he was investigating Gregson, followed him into an apartment. Gregson, seemingly anyway, Gregson got murdered.
Oops.
Yep, and Van Zieks, sorry.
Edgeworth. Yes, Edgeworth came back in time to investigate this because he wanted to prove to Phoenix that it doesn't matter how old they are, he's still dumb.
Yep. And Van Zieks picked up the fucking weapon, and
Kinda like how Edgeworth picked up the weapon.
this game loves to reference past cases. You're absolutely right. It does that a lot. I don't know why.
It loves the first game for some reason. It's the first game. We're obsessed with that game.
Unfortunately.
Of all the games you pick to, like, you take this game.
Yeah, I don't know why, but Van Zieks gets arrested. We have to defend him. He stops being a racist motherfucker, and
Basically, this case takes up the rest of the game.
yeah, it's actually part of it's the first half. It's the first half of the rest of the game. The last case is the second half. So it's like
It's like Dual Destinies, where Case 4 and 5 were just the same case, except Case 4 was more like the exposition, and then Case 5 was just like the climax and all the action and intense action and stuff like that. Everything scary was happening. Oh my god.
Yep. And it's basically the same thing here. And I mean that I will give Resolve that because it makes more sense than how Capcom did with Spirit of Justice, where the 4th case is completely irrelevant and the 5th case is just really 2 big cases in one. It's just, they could have just cut out.
They make it to where I don't know why, but they always have that one case where it's just kind of there, and then they have the 4th or 5th case where it's like it gives you all of the information for the plot, and they just expect you to just understand it.
Yeah, that's the thing about Capcom. These games are just too damn formulaic for their own good. And it shows. It's just... But, yeah, so Gregson gets murdered. Although, honestly, I don't care. I'm sorry.
Gregson didn't really do anything.
Right? It's like, he barely does anything. He's not really a character that's likable to begin with. And we barely spend any time with him. So when the game is like, OMG, Gregson died! It's like, I don't care. I don't
Okay.
like, right. It's just like, okay, I don't care. Even the characters themselves don't really care all that much either. Like they react, and then that's it. That's it.
Oh,
That's it. It's like Iris. You think Iris would be like, "Oh my god," but no, she forgets about it as quick. It's just like, dude, you reacted to the fucking pawnbroker's death more strongly than you reacted to Gregson's death, Iris. What the fuck? Like, it's Gregson. How the hell are you not more upset about this? I just and Sholmes, yeah, just resolve. Oh my god. Gregson does not fucking matter in this game. He was done dirty. I think it was just killed off for shock value. Like, there was no reason to kill him off.
I mean, they didn't have the balls to kill off any of the main characters in the original games, so they had to do it somewhere.
You know, it's like, well, we have to kill somebody important off. He wasn't important. What's your point?
He wasn't important. That's the problem.
Right? It's like...
You killed the wrong person. Say, if you killed, like, I don't know, Susato or something like that.
Oh, shit. That would have
been... not Susato. That would have been kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's not like she actually does stuff.
Yeah. I mean, she's an encyclopedia, that's it.
That's her literal role in both of these games. She basically teaches the player lawyer stuff. Yay!
Right. This is basically how the dialogue goes with Susato around. The character says, "This is X," and Ria Natsuki says, "X," and then Susato says, "Oh, by X he means," and that's basically the entire dialogue.
Or, oh my god, Herlock Sholmes. I want to marry him. I'm his biggest fan. I love him. But he's an idiot at times.
Right? Yeah, she's biased towards him. Ryu knows it. Everyone knows it.
Everyone makes fun of the fact that she's biased towards Herlock.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just... I can see why some people don't like her. I mean, I like her, but yeah, she's not perfect. Not even close. But yeah, Gregson, I don't care. Like, I don't care. And you see, the thing is that sometime during the last, what was it? Either the fourth case or the fifth case, I don't remember. Brock says, Gregson and I used to work on a lot of cases together. We were close. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure
about that?
Are you sure?
Gregson didn't do anything, and he's definitely acting different.
Right? It's like they were implied to have some sort of relationship together, but we never see it. So
it's just told to us with like a few sentences.
Right? It's like there's a picture of him and his brother and Gregson all together. I'm like, this isn't enough. I don't care about this. Get this shit out of my face. Get that shit out. It's like,
get out of here.
Yeah, get that shit out of here. Nah, you're just telling us instead of showing us. That's not good writing. Come on.
Have you ever heard show, don't tell?
Capcom hasn't, apparently. It's just like...
I mean, a lot of things. Like, for example, black people exist. Looking at the Dual Destinies. It's
and the one person that did, that was a rapper. Oh, yeah. Huh. I totally didn't see that coming. Anyway.
They also forget that, like, hey, not everyone has to be accused of murder 5 times.
Right? It's like, ooh, let's make Maya another someone who gets accused of murder. Let's make her the defendant again. Like, stop it, Capcom. Stop it.
But Bob, didn't we literally just have her as a defendant last game? But we're doing it again.
Right? Like, it happened to her in the first game, in Justice for All, in Trials and Tribulations, and now Spirit of Justice. Stop it, Capcom.
Technically, it also happened in Phoenix, right? Versus Professor Layton.
Oh, yeah! The game that nobody remembered. Oops.
Yeah. Technically, she got accused of murder there, too. And witchcraft.
It's just... Capcom, stop! Damn!
What is it? They have, like, this sort of grudge against Maya. It's like, for every one good thing she does, she gets, like, 5 bad things happen to her.
Right? And it doesn't really help Yeah, that and it doesn't really help that she's basically dead weight. Like out of all the sidekicks in this universe, she's probably the least useful. If I'm going to be honest.
I mean,
Like,
there's Sato.
oh well, true. See, at least Susano's a legal assistant that tells you shit. What does Maya do? She just she's just moral support and not even as.
She summons Mia.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
For like the 3 times you need her.
True. Honestly though, she's even less useful than Pearl. At least Pearl can summon whenever she wants. Maya can't do it unless she's in actual trouble.
Oh no, I'm in trouble.
And it's like, Mia, come. Okay. No.
Technically, she's always in trouble.
Oh, that's true. Then she should be able to do it all the time.
It's just when the plot lets her.
True. But yeah, like the whole Gregson thing, I don't care. Iris doesn't care. Sholmes doesn't care. Ryu doesn't care. Susato doesn't care. They want to make us think they care, but they don't really care.
Really
so
do not care.
Yeah. So if you guys don't care, I don't see why we should either. It's just no. Like, and it's what pisses me off about this is that Gregson actually provided a place for Gina to stay. So now Gina's homeless again.
Oops.
Like, you guys just... This whole story spent some time trying to get Gina into a better place, and now she's on the streets again.
She's kind of sounding like Maya, where nothing good can happen to her.
Right? Like, seriously...
And Capcom just hates her for some reason.
That's the thing. I feel like Capcom really hates some of these characters, and I'm just like... You guys need to stop doing your characters dirty. That's just not fair to them. That's not fair.
If you're gonna bring them up, don't make them, like, horrendous. Or, like, don't make them live, like, terrible lives.
Yeah. Because, honestly, Gina and Gregson deserve better. Like, why?
Especially Gina. Gina constantly is just like, oh, I want to do better. And she tries doing better. And things go wrong.
Right? It's like she's even trying to learn how to read. And it's like, nope, we don't care. It's like,
we don't care.
It's like, but I just spent all this time trying to better my life, and we don't care.
We don't care. Go back to the streets.
Yeah, and what makes this even worse is that she's literally the only person who seriously cares that Gregson died, because he meant the world to her. Like she is crying throughout the entire fourth case. Like she just doesn't like it that doesn't like that everyone thinks that Gregson's the Reaper. And she's trying to defend him. She's just so emotional. She's the only person who gives a damn about the man, but no one else does. And it's just sad.
I wonder if this helps her, like, get accused of murder again.
Fortunately, it doesn't.
That's rare.
Right?
Someone showing emotion and they're not accused of murder?
Right?
I mean, Maya has her sister murdered, she's crying for a dead body, and she gets accused, but... Gina? Nah.
Right. But fortunately Gina doesn't get accused of murder, she just gets thrown out to the streets. That's not really much better. Right? It's like, guys, you could have... I'm just pissed, like, that didn't need to happen. That did not need to happen. Like, you did her dirty. How could you do that? Do you not care about her? Do you not like her?
No.
Man, fuck you, Capcom. How dare you? You just hate women. You hate women. You hate women.
You hate women, you hate black people.
Right? It's like, they're both racist and sexist. Okay.
I guess.
Not to mention that they do like to punish the main character. I mean, how many times...
Towards the main character for some reason.
Yeah, like, how many times has Phoenix been whipped by Francisca in games 2 and 3?
How many times has he been accused of murder?
Right? How many times has Ryu been, thrown by Susato? It's just...
How many times has Ryu been accused of murder?
Right? Like, you're either accused of murder or you're yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Getting your ass kicked. It's just...
Oops.
Oops. But yeah, like the fourth case is just stupid, and it's the whole clan is convoluted. Like the true murderer used firecrackers to fake a gunshot sound to throw off the actual time of death, and the witnesses are annoying. That's all I'm gonna say. They're annoying. They're annoying. They don't. They're annoying. They don't
Sounds
do
like
much.
most.
Yeah, basically. Although not as bad as they were in Turnabout Big Top. It's not that bad, but that's basically the fourth case.
PS5 is just a continuation, except more details.
Oh right, but I forgot to mention case 4. Guess what? Kazuma's out for blood, and he's actually your opponent.
Yes!
Oh shit! And he wants to.
Kazuma?
Right?
Wait a minute, I thought he was dead.
Nope, he's alive, and he is going to prosecute against Brock Van Zieks, the guy who took him in. And because he thinks Barack Van Zieks is the true Reaper, not Professor, whatever, I don't care. Not the
not the white man.
Yeah. It's like, no, my father wasn't the my father wasn't the professor. No, it was you, Van Zieks. It's like, nope, sorry, Kazuma, you're wrong.
I am.
But yeah, that's basically. I mean, like, it was nice having your best friend fight against you, but that's the only good thing I can say about this case.
Is he a defense attorney? Question mark.
Right? Not to mention that a lot of the arguing you do just ends up helping the prosecution anyway, so oops.
What's the point? It reminds me of the first half of Case 5 in Spirit of Justice, where you're going against Phoenix, but he's the prosecutor, but he's a defense attorney.
Yeah, he was the plaintiff, and you fight against him. Yeah, sorry, Rizal, but you're just not fooling anyone. You just love to recycle plots and change some things here and there.
They love to reference the previous game.
Yeah, and Spirit of Justice of all the games, why? Why that game? Why not something else?
I don't know. Investigations 1. Investigations 2. Or any of them. They're neither game are referenced, especially Investigations 2.
Yeah, they're like
kind of get that, but like still, you could reference it like once or twice.
Yeah, they're like no references to the investigation games. Like no references at all.
It's always just the original trilogy or Spirit of Justice.
Yeah.
Because get it, it's a prequel, guys.
Unfortunately, but now we can go into case 5 because case 4 is just boring. Anyway,
Case 5, literally nothing interesting happens except you just learn a little more information.
but there is one segment where you do a great deduction with Sholmes, but Sholmes actually, doesn't fuck it up this time. His deductions
and he's not doing all the work.
Yep.
You actually do the work.
Yep. And so,
whoa,
right?
What's wrong here?
Right? He's like, you know what? I'm not going to mess around anymore. Let's do this. And so,
what?
Right? It's like, oh my God, Sholmes, you're actually not, fucking shit up this time.
That's rare.
Yep. And of course,
Sholmes, you're actually letting us do stuff.
That too.
Whoa! It's almost as if we have a mouth.
Oh, but guess what? So, there was this investigation on this cruise ship.
Nothing. Yep.
Yeah, so we have to find Susato's father's friend, Mikotoba's friend, Judge Jigoku, who was running away. They found him, and he apparently he's apparently involved in some shady shit, and so they told him that he would have to come to court to testify because he's the Justice Minister of Foreign Affairs. I don't fucking remember what his title was, but he's he has to go back to court. So he goes back, and oh yeah, I forgot. You also do a bunch of investigating on the whole professor case thing, the whole series of murders 10 years ago, and you find out that it wasn't Kazuma's father who did those murders. No, it was Barat's brother. Oh shit!
Oh my god!
Yep, and you find that out, and oh shit, it was just, that was such a good reveal. And, but, okay, so, but you still don't know who the Reaper is, though. And apparently, the Reaper is proven to be Lord G. Justice Strongheart, who was... What? Right? Gasp. Although, I mean, like, well, we totally didn't have any idea, even though the man had some sort of, villainous aura around him. But, the game wants us to, think it was a complete surprise. Yeah, no, fuck you. It was obvious he was a villain. We just didn't know which one. But, yeah, so the Lord Chief Justice Strongheart is actually he's actually the Reaper, not the Professor. The Professor was still Brock's brother, of course, but Brock's brother was coerced by the Reaper to kill some of the aristocrats. And and a dog was used for these murders, like the family dog was used for these murders. And Kazuma's father found out because he was close friends with Brock's brother, and Brock's brother was like, okay, I'm just tired of this. Let me just write this will, and then we'll duel to the death, and then whoever makes it makes it. And he gets killed in the duel, and yeah, it's shonen levels of crap. So anyway, so we going back to the whole Reaper thing. So Strongheart is proven to be the villain, and not just him, but Jigoku as well. Jigoku has actually been collaborating with Strongheart for who knows how long, and they both even participate in this assassin exchange where that British lady that got murdered at the beginning of the game. Oh no, she was actually an assassin, and her name was literally Asa Shin. Asa Shin. That was her name because wordplay. Get it?
Get it?
Right? Get it?
Because Capcom loves the fact that they can do wordplay.
Yep. It's not an Ace Attorney game without wordplay. It's a fact. But...
Not even that.
But the other assassin for the exchange was actually Kazuma Sogi. What? Oh, shit! And he was actually sent by Judge Jigoku himself as part of an assassin mission, hence the exchange. But Kazuma's like, no, I'm not killing anyone. So he went with Jigoku to this cruise ship. That's why Jigoku was there in the first place. And actually, no, I'm sorry. He went with Gregson. And then they both met Jigoku. But, well, actually, they were both supposed to, but Kazuma just left. And Gregson was left to go and kill Jigoku himself. But Jigoku went and killed Gregson. And then stuffed his body into a suitcase and smuggled it into London. And threw it into... Actually, no. First, he threw it into the refrigerator on the ship, I believe. And...
Yes.
Yeah. And... Okay, now here's the really stupid part. Gregson liked to have fish and chips with him always, but when Jigoku was transporting Gregson's body, the fish and chips fell out. Instead of throwing it away like any normal person would have, Jigoku's like, oh shit, I gotta put this back. But it's like, dude, if you do that...
It's dirty.
Right? People will tell that the time of death was tampered with, because if you freeze a body, you can throw off the time of death. But he thought, oh, you know what? I'm gonna just put this expired food here because because people are gonna think, oh no, he doesn't have his fish and chips with him. Oh no, I need to put it back. I'm like, dude, you could have just thrown it away. You didn't have to put it back because now people can tell that the body's been tampered with. It's
I could have ordered new fish and chips.
That too. Like, dude, even if he didn't have the fish and chips on him, people still wouldn't be able to explain why he didn't have the food on him. It wouldn't have mattered. Like, you didn't have to put it back. You're so stupid. I'm sorry. It's and
but gee, that would make sense.
True. But yeah, he smuggles the fucking body all the way to London. And of course he gets away with it because, he asked the foreign minister, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, whatever, he doesn't have to go through a security check with his luggage. So he exploited that, and he hid the body in some apartment. Yeah.
So if people smell a rotting corpse, and it so happens to be in the justice's case, they're just to be like, okay, maybe it's just a new suitcase smell.
That's what I was thinking. Like, how did people not smell it? And how did blood not leak leak out of the suitcase? Like, how did he get away with that? But like, at one point he was even talking with Ryu, Susato, and her father, and they all took a picture together, and I'm just like, how did you all not smell the corpse? Like, how? Like, that must have been one airtight suitcase. That's all I'm gonna say. It's like, I don't know where he got something like that, but goddamn. And yeah, he dumped the body into some apartment, and then that's where Van Zieks found it and got accused of murder. So yeah, Jigoku gets caught for his crimes, but guess what? No one cares!
No one cares!
And it's just going back to the whole, okay, it's like, am I supposed to care? Because it's like, Jigoku was a friend of Mikotoba's, a friend of Susato's father's, right? So why the fuck does no one care that he's about to be tried for a crime? Like, he literally got caught in the trial, and nobody cares what's going to happen to him. Nobody's like, oh, Jigoku, how could you do this? I thought we were friends, or anything like that. It's just like, oh, you killed him. Okay, bye. That's it. Like, his best friend barely reacts to it. Like, Mr. Mikotoba, what the fuck? Like, your best friend's about to be tried for murder. You're not gonna react? Like, if none of these,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I'm just saying, nah, I'm not gonna do anything.
I know, it's like, okay, so the game doesn't want us to react to Jigoku, being found guilty of murder, or Gregson getting killed. It's like, do you not want me to care about these characters? I'm sorry, it's just, like, if the characters don't care, I don't see why I should. It's just so bad. Oh my god, the writing and resolve is so bad. Okay. And now, Lord Strongheart. Oh, I have a lot to say about him. Oh my god. So, throughout the trial, you piece together a pretty convincing argument that Lord Strongheart is the Reaper. But guess what? There's technically no conclusive evidence of his guilt. But the man stupidly admits to everything you point out. Everything. Like, I'm just like, oh my god. And I'm just, Lord Strongheart, you literally do not need to confess or admit to any of these accusations. You don't need to do that. Like, because again, there's technically is no direct evidence linking you to any of these crimes. But he's like, okay, I did it. Haha, so what? And I'm like, are you sure you're a villain? Because you're not a very good one. Like, and what makes this even, like, there's this one moment where Ryunosuke finds in Kazuma's sword, he finds a little piece of paper that's basically the will of Barack's brother, and that basically just tells the entire court everything that Strongheart's been doing, and Strongheart again didn't have to admit to it, but he does it anyway. Like, he could have just feigned ignorance. He could have said, "I don't know what you're talking about. You have no evidence. Prove it." He could have done that the entire time. But no, he just admits to literally everything the defense throws at him. And then it gets worse. So he tries to appeal to the judiciary about how all of his actions were for the greater good of the legal system. And almost everyone initially believes that Lawrence Strongheart's doing good, but then Sholmes comes in with the dumbest Deus Ex Machina ever. So he and Iris had built this device that displays holograms. So Sholmes could actually, be in the courthouse without actually being in the courthouse. People could see a hologram of him. And he reveals that he was secretly that he'd been secretly recording the entire trial, and the Queen of England was watching with them. And then the Queen is like, "Oh, okay, Strongheart, you are no longer Lord Chief Justice. Bye." And then she just yeets his ass out of office, and then he goes through a villainous breakdown. Probably one of the most dramatic ones ever. And then, yay, trial over. But still, it's like, really? A holographic device that can record in the late 1800s. You expect me to... Okay. So, it's stupid. And it's not just that, but again, Sholmes has to save the fucking day while the main character just sits on his ass wondering what to do, because, that's just, like, seriously, in every other game except for that horrendous crossover, the main character is the one that actually does the work at the end, with some support from others. But
nope.
Here it's like, let Sholmes do it.
The great ace detective.
Yeah, this might as well have been his game, if we're going to be honest. This might as well have been his game. It's just, like, again, okay, Sholmes, we didn't need you. Like, let Ryu have his moments. This was his moment. His moment to stop Lord Strongheart. And you go and shits all over that with that stupid Deus Ex Machina at the end. Which doesn't even make any fucking sense. Like, again, this is the late 1800s. How the fuck do you have holograms in the late 1800s? Yeah, see, the Resolve just pisses me off. I'm sorry, it just does. It just does. I feel like, I find it weird that some people like this more than Adventures. No, I think it's worse. I think it's worse than Adventures. Like, Adventures had issues, but this one just made them all worse. There's just so much wrong with it. And see, yeah, and another thing that I don't like. Okay, so as I said, Resolve has better pacing than Adventures, but to me, I feel like that actually was a bad thing for it, because there were certain plot threads that were never really fully developed. Again, I bring up Gregson and Barack's relationship, as well as, the Van Seeks family history. We don't get much time on that either. And it's just like, I feel like this game was just rushing a bit too much with the backstory. Like, we needed more time to expand on all these characters, because Gregson, Kazuma's father, Brock, his brother, they were all connected somehow, but we don't really get enough insight as to what happened back then. because the game rushed through it. Oh, and apparently Iris is actually Brock's niece, because guess what? Right?
What?
She's the professor's daughter, and no one's gonna tell her because, why would they? It's like basically like with what Apollo Justice did, but here it's just So fuck Resolve. Anyway, it's just a mess. It's a mess. Like, it started off good, but then just went and just declined towards the end. Like, I don't know how that happened. It regressed in quality. I still enjoyed the last case, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
It's just too long.
Yeah. At least I didn't have an irrelevant fourth case like Spirit of Justice did. But...
What game?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Apollo Justice 3. I'll call it that. Anyway.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Phoenix Wright 6. But... yeah, Resolve... It's just... Oh, yeah, and Ryu decides to go back to Japan because Kazuma's alive, so there's no point in him being in London anymore since the study tour was intended for Kazuma, so he goes back, Chitata goes with him, and yeah. That's it. Kazuma stays with Barak because, he wants to stay, he wants to continue being a prosecutor. Okay, cool. Whatever, I don't care. But... yeah, so the fifth case, I liked it a lot. It was very dramatic and exciting, but at the same time, it's
too long.
And the writing was just shit. It was shit. Like, oh my god. It's just, resolve. I like you, but man, you dropped the ball towards the end. Why? Then again what hurts the series the most is just having Sholmes in it. Like, if it's the same thing with the Professor Layton crossover, why would you put a detective in a game if they're not the main character? Like, because they're just gonna do everything.
Professor Layton, he solves all the puzzles. Herlock, he solves all the puzzles. He tells basically Ryu how to solve every puzzle.
Yeah, that's the thing. And again, and it's the same thing with, I know this is unrelated, but it's the same thing with Danganronpa 1, where the main character is, there's already a detective character that's not the main character, so the main character is just having his hand held throughout the entire thing. And it's just like, okay, why? Like, it's just like, what's the point? Like, there's already somebody else doing the work. What's the point of us doing it? You just remove agency from the character, the main character. Like, we're supposed to be the ones doing all this work. But no, you have someone else do it.
Because why not?
It's just, oh my god. Yeah, I would see. I'm hard on Resolve than on Adventures because Resolve could have fixed a number of things that Adventures set up, but just went and did the exact opposite.
They made things worse.
Yeah, which sucks because it had such a compelling first case, aside from a few stupid leaps of logic, and then it ends with this. It's just like, okay. But
it's also the games.
But yeah, that's...
And with that, we have officially discussed every single game.
Every single fucking game, from Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney all the way to DGS 2, The Great Ace Attorney 2.
So, in retrospect, how can we sum up the series?
Oops.
Yeah, a lot of leaps in logic, but not so much with certain games, but a lot with other games. It depends on the game. Some games are written better than others, but there are some that are so bad that you have to wonder what was going on with Capcom when they made them. Like, it's just like... Again, I bring up Spirit of Justice. Dual Destinies was a breath of fresh air, and then Spirit of Justice went and just fucked it up. Just fucked it up. Just went and fucked it right up. And the crossover. Okay, if they ever port this to the Switch, if they don't add any sort of subdivisions for the cases, I'm not playing it. I just know. You need subdivisions in an Ace Attorney game. I don't care which one it is. You need subdivisions. That helps with the pacing. It's just... But no, this game doesn't have any. Capcom went all over the place with this series. We still love these games, but god damn, there are so many issues. But I think we talked about everything. I can't think of anything else to talk about. Trying to think. Blue? Oh
Yes.
shit! You still?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm here. It's just, I didn't know what to really say.
Oh, it's okay.
'Cause
I don't know either. I think
we finished it, so
yeah,
nothing much I can really say.
yeah. I mean, great. The Great Ace Attorney series, I love it. I think the localization is amazing, but the writing could have been better.
Overall, I really like these games. I like some games more than others. I dislike some games more than others. These games, but yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, we can sum up this series as leaps of faith, wacky characters, engaging quote unquote stories, and yeah.
Yeah, we love these games. They're very fun, very quirky, over the top. But at the same time, they can drag on for quite some time, and there are times where you're just going to have to turn your brain off because the game wants you to believe in something completely fucking stupid. And
There's a lot of that.
a lot of that. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention regarding the will that Barack's brother wrote. So, another thing that Strongheart could have done was not just deny that he ever had any connection with this will, but argued that, since Kazuma's father basically forced Barack's brother to write it, like, it could have at least been a lie. But, again, Strongheart's an idiot who doesn't bother to defend himself, so, oops. So fuck that. Fuck that ending to resolve. It's like that. The ironic thing is that the game's name is Resolve. What did it resolve exactly?
It resolved Kazuma.
Yeah, and a dumb.
But other than that, nothing else.
Basically. But hey, at least Ryu gets to be a successful lawyer in Japan. Yay.
Yay?
I mean, I don't know, I guess it makes sense. Like, if he had stayed in London, he probably would have been assassinated at one point. So, it's like, yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of here. But
Peace out, y'all.
it's like, I'm out. But yeah, everyone says goodbye, and it's like, yay, I don't care. I'm not coming back to London. Fuck y'all. Nah, he doesn't say that. I would, but he doesn't. But
I hate you all.
basically, especially Sholmes. Again, he's not a good person. He's not. But, it's Capcom, so, make someone sadistic or sociopathic or mean-spirited behavior. Play it off for laughs. I mean, there was a fucking woman who threw fucking flaming objects at her husband. Well, I'm just like, I shouldn't be surprised. But yeah, that's the Ace Attorney series. We love it, but yeah, the writing could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
But there's not really much else to say. I mean, we've already torn into every single game. Some more than others. Resolve, Spirit of Justice. But anyway. Oh.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, and to this day we still don't have a localization for Investigations 2. Like that's literally the only game that hasn't been localized. Sad face.
How did these games get localized but not Investigations too?
Yeah, like like the Great Ace Attorney series got localized, but not Investigations 2? Come on. Localize it. Like make them both some kind of cool duology like Capcom did, with Chronicles. I hope they do. Like if they can localize Chronicles, they can certainly localize Investigations too. But hopefully, I'm hoping they do because that's like the only game left. But yeah, that's the entire series. I'm glad I had this stream because I wanted to tear right into Resolve. There was just so much wrong with it.
I'm glad I actually got invited today.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Easter eggs. This game has a lot of problems.
Yeah, I like how you tore into Investigations too, because I just could not remember most of that game.
Investigations 2, I love it, but dear Jesus, it had so many flaws that I just could not simply ignore it.
I know. It's sad because like it had such an interesting story, but the writing ruined it.
Cough, case 5.
Case 5 was no. We don't. It's like just no. God. But yeah, that's the entire series. Yes, including the Professor Layton crossover. What the fuck ever. I don't care about that. Anyway.
Who cares about that game?
Like, it's not even canon, so like who cares?
Why is it here?
Like it, and plus it doesn't even feel like an Ace Attorney game for the most part, as we have stated multiple times. So, oops. But yeah, that's it. God, how long have we been doing this?
2 hours.
Oh, 2.5 hours. Okay, but yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed that. Thank you all so much for watching. I am. Oh, and again, if you're mad about us spoiling these games will again.
Oops.
You should have known better than to watch this. Oops.
Lol.
But yes, thank you all so much for watching. I am TeamMiller15.
I'm Blue Wolf.
And we will see you guys next time. Until then, take care and goodbye.
Farewell.